FedNow is coming whether we like it or not. But what exactly is it? Is it a digital currency? And what are the pros and cons? That's what we're breaking down in this video. Hi, and welcome back to Stop Being Sold. My name is Michelle, and I'm here with Brian. And in today's video, we're discussing the FedNow program, which is set to launch in July. We're going to talk about what it is, how it works, discuss some of those fees, debunk the misconceptions that are floating around the internet, and discuss the downsides. So, Brian, I'm going to hand you the mic and have you just quickly explain what FedNow is and how it works.
Yeah, Michelle, the FedNow Service is an instant payment service provided by the Federal Reserve that enables real-time payment settlements between banks and their customers. Individuals and businesses will be able to send and receive funds 24/7, 365 days a year. Yeah. You no longer have to wait for payments to clear the bank. You'll be able to receive your money in your account within seconds of it being sent. As you said in the intro, it's scheduled to launch in July 2023. And when it does, it will only support domestic payments between U.S. depository institutions.
And the other thing to mention here is that it's not going to be automatic, meaning at least not right away, right. Meaning that not everyone will be on the FedNow, as merchants and vendors have to apply for it.
Right. Correct. It's up to the banks, merchants, and vendors to get into the network. It's not being forced on anyone to actually use the program.
Well, at least in its initial launch.
Initially, yes.
Right. So there's a lot of misunderstanding, and I want to start with this because I think it's important. Gotten lots of nasty comments on some of our FedNow videos. Nasty. But it's important to bring it up. So there's a lot of misunderstanding that this is a central bank digital currency and that it's meant to replace cash. But as it is right now, as it's being presented to us, it's not. It's not a digital currency. FedNow is a payment service that allows banks and credit unions to transfer funds instantly, just like Venmo does, right? And that's it.
Yeah, it's like the other Federal Reserve payment services, just like FedWire and FedACH. Yeah, so again, it's neither a form of currency nor a step toward eliminating any form of payment, which includes cash. According to the Fed site, they've made no decision on issuing a central bank digital currency, CBDC. It would only proceed with the issuance of a CBDC with an authorizing law. Testifying before the House Financial Services Committee in March 2023, Chair Powell said a central bank digital currency is something we would certainly need congressional approval for.
Yes. Well, while this may not be a digital currency or meant to replace cash, I can see how this service would make it easier to roll out a CBDC when the time comes. The Fed consolidates their power, gets everybody using the same payment system, and voila.
Bam.
Right? Bam. That's exactly. Sucker punch to the gut. The next thing you know, we're all using the FedCoin or whatever it is they decide to call it.
Yeah, I can see where the confusion comes from because both conversations about CBDCs and FedNow are happening simultaneously. Yeah. And I also get where people are nervous or untrusting of the Fed and the banking system as a whole. I mean, there's literally no trust right now.
Not at all.
And FedNow could very well set up things for the rollout of a CBDC.
Yeah, speaking of which, we did a video on the danger of CBDCs and how they might cause the total loss of our freedoms. Go check that out. It's in the pinned comment below and the description. So do watch that after you finish this. All right, so Brian, another concern, valid concern, is that FedNow will replace third-party apps like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and Zell.
Yeah, that is a valid concern, but according to the Fed, the FedNow program is not meant to replace other money transfer options like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or Zell. The Federal Reserve Bank has made it clear that FedNow is designed to work alongside these systems built by the private sector.
Well, and while the intention may not be to replace them, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Maybe people will just use FedNow because it's right there in their bank because it's easier. The issues with some of these apps is that you can only send, all of these apps, you can only send money to people who also have the same app as you, which can be a pain in the butt if you only use Cash App, but all your friends are on Venmo or your grandma has none of them.
Exactly. It's funny. There's already a private real-time payments network that launched in 2017, and over 100 different financial institutions use it to offer instant funds transfers. Zell is the only app-based payment system that operates within the RTP network.
Hmm.
That's why you'll often see Zell's service offered directly when you logged into your bank or credit union. And financial institutions that use the RTP network also have the option to opt into the FedNow system. That was the key. They've got the option to opt into.
Right. But here's my question. If this already exists with Zell and the RTP network, why does the Fed now need to run the show? I'm concerned. It should be concerning to everyone when the central bank has so much control of anything, especially when they can't get anything right. It looks like just a power play.
Yeah. Another question is, why would banks want to go to the FedNow program when they already have a real-time payment network that Zell is on and they built and they own it? If I ran a bank today and already had this payment system that works seamlessly, I would at least want to keep the current and private RTP network as a backup in case the FedNow fails or the Fed transfers too much power to themselves. The real question is, if banks get on FedNow, is this a backdoor for them to track everything, every movement of every dollar?
I'm going to go with probably, but time will tell, right?
Right.
Only time will tell if the Fed is being honest and that they don't have access to your bank account, which is what they're saying now about FedNow. It's really terrifying. So let's move on from that. One of the benefits of this is that we get faster payments. And who doesn't want that? You don't have to wait for a payment to clear again.
Right.
What about the fees associated with using FedNow?
Oh, great question. Just a second. Let me pull it up. Okay. According to this, 4.5 cents per transaction. It may not seem like a lot, but I pay nothing with Zell. And as with FedNow, the transaction is instantaneous. It's the same. Why would I pay per transaction when I get it now for free? That's just my thoughts. So.
Right. We're also going to put a link, by the way, down below in the description to the FedNow facts page and also to these fees. So you can go check them out yourself. Yeah, it doesn't make actually any sense, does it?
No.
Okay, so let's get into the downsides. One downside I see is because it's immediate. That means transactions aren't reversible. So how do we know how this is going to work? What if I request a refund or I accidentally send someone $100 instead of $10?
Great question. What if you send the wrong person money?
Yeah.
This is what they call a request for return. And the request for a return is a mechanism that allows you options to be able to at least attempt to get the money back. The word attempt to get the money back is kind of confusing to me. If you've got it built into the system, so what you're kind of telling me is the person
They can't guarantee it.
Yeah, I can request to get it back, to at least attempt to get it back through this request. But does that mean that the other person on the other end has to push the button to send it back? Kind of like now though. If I send money to the wrong person today through Zell, I don't know how to recall it.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah. So, and here's another thing. Another downside is that it's vulnerable to power outages and tech issues. But here's the thing.
Makes it no different.
Yeah. No different than any other payment options available today, except for cash. We mentioned this earlier, but another potential downside is they may not be supported by all banks and credit unions or merchants until those banks and credit unions sign up to be a part of the network. So
we're forced to be on it. It's also a positive, though. I think it is a good thing that institutions aren't being forced to sign up and people aren't being forced to sign up.
Well, at least right now. And think about this for a minute. Look at everything we just went through in the past 90 days.
Yeah.
With the banking institutions. Okay. Yeah. What if that is a requirement as a federal bank that this must be at least you must at least be on this platform?
Sure.
We may see that in the future. So
we'll see. Like I said, time will tell. So one last downside that's worth mentioning is, do we really want this? A payment system that the Federal Reserve has created. I mean, the Fed does not have a great track record of doing much right other than breaking the system.
Many don't want to see this happen. Right. That's so true. history has shown they've broken the system over and over. If you go back and do some research on it, some examples are during the Great Depression, the historic inflation of the 1970s, the 2008 financial crisis, and what may end up being the banking crisis of 2023.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing out of all the downsides we went through, how do you get your money back? Well, it's kind of the same now as with Zell. How do you? The power outages, this, that, and the other, but this is the real one. It's the control and the consolidation of power that has a lot of people freaking out. And also, while this is not, again, FedNow is not a CBDC, it's not a digital currency.
No.
It's a fantastic way to usher one in very quickly. So
stepping stone.
Absolutely. Oof. All right. So we are going to put that link below to the dangers of CBDCs. Check that out below, please. Right. If you know anybody who needs to hear this information, everybody do. If you're an American, you need to know this. You need to know what's coming, not just about CBDCs, but also about this FedNow program, because you may end up on it before you know it because your bank is signed up. So you might want to also do that, do a little research and find out who's jumping on board. Right. All right. On that note, if you like this content, hit that like button. Help us grow this channel. We are doing our best. We put up videos on the daily. We want to help you make better decisions about your financial future. So hit that like button, subscribe, send this video on, and leave us comments and kind of keep them nice, guys, please.
Yeah. Please.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thank you, Brian, for everything. And thanks to everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.